Mr. Chairman, we are broadcasting live.
Hello, this is the March 16th, 2021 meeting of the Town of Northborough, Massachusetts Water and Sewer Commission. This open meeting of the Water and Sewer Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspended the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. This order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Members of the public are encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Those members wishing to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to the Town of Northborough remote meetings on YouTube by using the link that was provided in the posted agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. The meeting ground rules will be conducted to provide effective and clear conduct of the business. Members of the commission are to mute their phone or computer when not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. I will, as chair, go through the items on the agenda, and then following presentation, commission members will be allowed an opportunity to provide comments and to speak. Members are asked if they do wish to speak, to do so through the chair and initially identify yourself. At this point, I will introduce each meeting attendee, and if you can acknowledge your presence verbally. Those remotely present at today's meeting of the Water and Sewer Commission are John Meter, present, Bryant Furman,
present,
David Pepe, at the present time is absent. And staff, if I can also ask when I call your name to please respond in the affirmative. Public Works Director Scott Charpentier.
I think our chair has frozen.
hello,
Hi, we think John is frozen at the moment.
Yeah,
Are you back, John?
I don't know,
Yeah.
am I here?
You were frozen for a minute.
Well, Dave just clicked in, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's given me an internet unstable, but I don't know of any issues. Am I okay?
I think you're okay. I can hear you now. I don't know where Scott, oh, here he comes.
that was interesting. I lost connectivity to the meeting. I believe you stopped at myself being present. You still have.
Well, I was at, yeah, I
Tim.
was at the end of the commission members. Now that the commission member Pepe, can you acknowledge that you're present?
yes, I am present,
Okay. Staff, if you can acknowledge when I call your name, please. Public Works Director Scott Charpentier.
Present.
Water and Sewer Supervisor Tim Davison.
Present.
Thank you. DPW Administrative Assistant Sarah Jean.
Present.
All right, very good. So the first item on our agenda is consideration of the meeting minutes from February 16th, 2021. My only suggestion would be on other business, the first paragraph where you reference MWRA and SCADA for the outside readers to potentially identify those before you abbreviate them. Aside from that, everything read okay for me.
Okay, thank you.
At this point, any comments, edits from either commission members? And again, David, you missed the introductory stuff. They're asking that you keep your computer muted unless you need to speak. And also, if you need to make a comment, do it through me. And if you can just identify yourself as you make the comment.
Okay. Good.
So any comments from commission members on the meeting minutes?
Through the chair, Bryant Furman.
Yes, sir.
Just two editorial comments on the first page. Item number 2, 2/3 down that paragraph says little amendments. Can we change that to few minor amendments or just minor amendments as opposed to the size of the amendment? And on page 2, the first full paragraph, about halfway down, application to fund design and permitting of the removal of the dam. That's it.
Through the chair, David Pepe. No comments?
Great. Well, this will be a motion to approve the minutes of February 16th, 2021 regular meeting as amended, and this vote will be done by roll call. Commissioner Furman,
Aye.
Commissioner Pepe,
Aye.
and Commissioner Meter is aye. Our next item on the agenda is consideration and discussion of the capital improvement plan. And for a brief presentation, I'll hand it over to Public Works Director Scott Charpentier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have in your packets on the first page a spreadsheet identifying our 6-year capital improvement plan. This has been presented to the Financial Planning Committee, unanimously supported by that committee. It's also been discussed at the Appropriations Committee. They don't have a supporting role in it, but they did not have any issues or concerns with it. It's a pretty simple capital plan we have for FY22 to be proposed at town meeting. 2 of the projects are shared between water and sewer, and 1 is water only. So the most substantial of the 2 shared projects would be the SCADA project, supervisory control and data acquisition. The proposed budget is $500,000. That's going to be shared again between water and sewer. What we did to determine and define the ratio between those 2 divisions was to summarize what is being provided and for which side. So for example, we're going to be installing a node, which is a computer-based station at the water garage. That would be shared by water and sewer. Then there's a node at Hudson Street Pump Station that'll serve the sewer division. We're putting in SCADA services at the MWRA valve and meter pit, as well as at Assabet Tank. So those would be under the water division. We'll also be installing SCADA services at the Hudson Street Pump Station, sanitary sewer pump station, and the West Main Street sanitary sewer pump station. Different projects have different costs associated with each of them based on what the facilities are that are there currently. The way the cost breakout is, it's 44% water and 56% sewer. That equates to $220,000 for water and $280,000 for sewer. We're proposing a borrowing article at town meeting to fund the project. As you're aware, on the sewer side, so this would fully implement SCADA for our water system. We're not proposing SCADA at the Edmonds Hill water storage tank, as the tank itself is serves really no viable purpose in town, and when it does need repair, it's likely to be taken out of service at that time. So it will provide SCADA service for all water facilities. On the sewer side, we're capturing some of our larger stations. Obviously, the Hudson Street Pump Station is our #1 pump station. West Main Street recently went through a full upgrade and serves our large commercial area, as well as the school at Lincoln Street. So those 2 pump stations are proposed for SCADA, as well as Route 20 Southwest Cutoff Pump Station that serves Northborough Crossing. So those all had communication upgrades recently, and they will all be part of this SCADA project to be brought online. We have a second phase, or what would be actually a third phase for SCADA, which is to start implementing other sewer pump stations over the coming years. Our expectation and our goal is to do that through our incremental pump station improvement budget item that's in our operating budget. The cost to install SCADA at a pump station can range between $25,000 and $60,000, depending on what the facilities are there when it comes to computers and controls. So again, we're going to be capturing our significant infrastructure: water storage tank, water supply valve, main pump stations, and redundant nodes, one at the garage, one at Hudson Street Pump Station. That's one of our 3 capital projects, the biggest one and the one that's going to be shared water sewer. The other shared water sewer is an equipment purchase. That's replacing our Kubota tractor. We have a 2003 tractor that we use for easement maintenance, mostly. It does some work around the yard, but it's generally for easement maintenance. We're replacing that. The cost is estimated to be $80,000. That's being proposed at town meeting under a free cash use, so we use fund balance. We have far more sewer easements than we do water easements. So the proposed ratio for that piece of equipment replacement is 40% water, 60% sewer. So that breaks out to $32,000 for water and $48,000 for sewer. We're proposing to replace it with a John Deere tractor. It'll have a variety of attachments: a blower, chipper, brush hog. Again, it does all of our easements and assists around the yard as well. The third project is the only standalone division project. It's on the water side. We discussed it at our recent meeting, our most recent meeting. This is the dam removal. So we submitted a grant application to the Commonwealth to fund 75% of the design and permitting costs associated with removing the Northborough Reservoir Dam. The estimated cost for design and permitting is $200,000, and this article requests authorization to borrow or use out of free cash $50,000 to support the 25% local match. This article these funds, if approved, would only be used in the event of a grant award. So that'll be contingent upon that. So those are the 3 for FY22. The out years from there beyond have not changed from what you've seen in the past. There is periodic I&I mitigation, inflow and infiltration. There is systematic equipment replacement as well, and a water main project that's in the out years that is yet to be identified. So that's briefly our capital plan. Again, it was discussed at the Financial Planning Committee and unanimously supported by them, as well as presented at the appropriations. So if you have any questions, Mr. Chair or Commission, please, I'm happy to help and answer.
All right, thank you, Scott. I have no questions at this point. I'll ask if any of the commission members have a question.
Through the chair, Brian Furman, no. That sounded good.
Through the chair, David Pepe. It sounds good. No questions.
Okay. I'm assuming in anticipation of town meeting, where we have in the past typically endorsed town meeting articles, this will, I think, satisfy that previous history. This will be a motion to support the fiscal year 2022 capital improvement plan, and this vote will be done by roll call. Commissioner Furman,
Brian Furman, aye.
Commissioner Pepe,
David Pepe, aye.
Commissioner John Meter is aye. Next item on the agenda is consideration of proposed fiscal year 2022 operational.
Two enterprise funds, the water enterprise fund and the sewer enterprise fund. In your packet, the water enterprise fund is listed first. It's also presented in our budget documentation first. So if you'd like, I can go through the water enterprise fund operating budget first. As you look down our increases proposed for FY22, they are substantially driven by two items. One is labor increases that are contractually obligated to meet, is the MWRA assessment this year.
Excuse me, Scott, just so you know, I'm getting your network bandwidth is low warning. You froze there briefly, but your audio stayed. So
Okay, let me
just so you know, it seems like it may be a little choppy here.
I'll if you'd like, I can stop my video and see is the audio choppy?
No, your video is back okay. Your audio never left. So
Okay.
You're okay right now.
All right. So the operating budget for the water enterprise fund has one substantial increase, and that is the MWRA assessment. Historically, our MWRA assessments are increased in the 5%-ish range. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. How they arrive at that is very similar to how we arrive at our billings. It's billed, back forward. It's based on our percentage of overall MWRA water use. And that percentage is what is applied to their operating expenses. So due to the pandemic, in calendar 20, the city of Boston and other larger commercial I'm back. Did we lose the chair?
I think so. He was frozen too.
Okay, yeah, but the Zoom literally dropped out and then came back. I'm gonna go really quick then. The same thing happened to me, Mr. Chairman. I got dropped out, kicked out of Zoom.
Yeah, you were showing the bandwidth low, and then you froze up, and then everything dropped out. So I guess.
I'll go a little quicker.
Did you reset? Did you do the reset or did it reset automatically?
It reset automatically.
Okay, well,
We're still broadcasting on YouTube. I've confirmed that.
okay,
The,
so you left off where City of Boston impact on COVID.
Yeah, so the MWRA's customers that use a lot of water in business and commercial facilities had substantial reductions in use in 2020. Bedroom communities like Northborough, our use went up. Not substantially, but it went up. But more importantly, our percentage of the overall MWRA water sales went way up. I did reach out to the MWRA asking if there's something that can be done. They gave me the typical answer, which is this is your assessment. It's based on your percentage of use. So this is why we maintain a healthy fund balance. So when things like a $345,000 MWRA increase occur, we can address it, this one-time occurrence, through fund balance and not have the ratepayers bear a substantial increase. So our overall increase for the operating budget this year is $360,000 roughly. 345 of it is the MWRA. So there are no other budget increases. We've kept everything we could legally level funded. We're proposing at town meeting to allocate a little over $300,000 toward the enterprise fund to stabilize rate increases. We're also proposing a typical rate increase somewhere in the 5 to 6% range for next year. The actual rate increase will be identified more clearly in a rate study that we perform in July and August. But again, the objective we have is to stabilize the rates, allow us to use our free cash, so a little over $316,000 at town meeting. That'll reduce our fund balance to about 11%. The industry goal is between 10 and 25%. We will be down to 11%. But again, that is this chair's back. That fund balance will be replenished when the FY21 final budgets are certified, and that will reflect our increased use. And the expectation is that we'll be putting a couple $100,000 back into the fund balance at the end of FY21. So while we're asking for 300 at town meeting, I think we're going to be putting 200 plus back in.
Scott, let me just interject again. I'm assuming this is getting captured on the YouTube live. There's sections where you're dropping out, so I'm missing things that you're saying. I'm not sure if that's the same with Bryant and Dave. Are you getting dropouts?
Chair, no, none at all.
Chair, no, not at all.
Yeah, there must be something funky going on at my house or something. I'm getting all kinds of dropouts. Anyway, Scott, I lost you where you were saying you had to you're going to ask to allocate money into the enterprise fund to hopefully mitigate something with the rates. I lost you when you were talking about the rate stuff.
All right, I'll go over that briefly. John, if you, Mr. Chairman, if you stop your video, sometimes that allows your bandwidth to be a little more robust on the audio side.
All right, let me try that.
So quickly again, we have a $360,000 operating budget proposed increase this year. 345 of it is specifically to the MWRA assessment. We're going to town meeting proposing to allocate $316,000+ out of fund balance. That'll help stabilize the rate increases, so it's something more reasonable in the 5 to 6% range, which is what we typically see. The $316,000 at town meeting allocation out of the fund balance will drop our fund balance down to about 11%. The industry goal is between 10 and 25%. But our increased usage in FY21 has resulted in more sales and more revenue. The expectation is at the end of FY21, we will be revenue positive, and my early projections are we'll be putting a little over $200,000 back in to the fund balance. So that'll bolster that 11% back up to, the 17 to 18% range, which is where we have been operating typically in the past. Would you like me to go forward to sewer operating budget, or do you want to discuss water first?
Through the chair, can I ask one question, Scott? Brian Furman? What do we expect from or anticipate from MWRA for FY21? Have they given any indication that water use is coming back to where it was, or?
Our use, we get monthly reports of our use from the MWRA, and calendar 21, we just received the January use, and our use has dropped off, as well as our percentage of the overall use, which is more important. So as Boston reopens, you see those percentages going back to where it used to be.
So they are on the rise. That's fine. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions on water? Sewer is quite a bit simpler. There are a lot of expenses that are shared between water and sewer. So when one stays flat, the other one just stays flat. There are, outside of contractual increases for wages and utilities, the only increase we have for the two increases for the sewer is one is our debt. The water meter program debt is in the process of shifting from water to sewer, because those meters are used by the sewer division for billing purposes, and it is a shared piece of infrastructure. So our debt has gone up. Our total budget increase is proposed to be $77,000. Of that, approximately half of it is debt increases. And again, we have not settled with Marlboro, so we're still in litigation. We're projecting a 5% increase to the Marlboro assessment. So that accounts for $39,000 of the 77. Outside of that, there is very little increases that are not contractually required. The only one that is in here that was not, we're not obligated to meet is a $2,500 increase to equipment replacement. You remember last year we purchased a pipe guillotine. The year before that, we purchased some other equipment. Every year we have to replace something, and it's hard to project specifically what piece of equipment needs to be replaced because things break unexpectedly. So rather than having a variable number in that slot for equipment replacement, we're just stable funding it at $7,500 a year. If something breaks, we have resources to replace it. It's not right to I don't believe, to cite specifically what's being replaced when in the middle of the year something else breaks and we don't get to replace it. It just doesn't look good in the following fiscal year to show it twice being replaced. So that's $2,500 out of the sewer operating budget increase. Everything else is contractually obligated. For example, to give you a quick summary on the Marlboro use, FY14 was the last time Marlboro fully settled with us in accordance with our old IMA, intermunicipal agreement. We settled at $456,000 for our shared use of the sewer treatment plant that year. Our FY22 proposed Marlboro charge is $813,000. So since FY14 to FY22, we've gone from 450 to over 810. So we're doing what we can to keep up with where we think the rates will fall when we settle litigation. That's all I have for the sewer operating budget. Do you have any questions?
Through the chair, Brian Furman again. Scott, can we lock in that gasoline budget item that you have for both water and sewer? Looks like a pretty good deal.
It is. And it's changing.
Well, yeah. That's why I'd like to see if we could lock that in.
Right?
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Scott. So that information was just for information. There's no formal motion associated with it. And I guess at this point, there's no other agenda items other than any other business that can be legally conducted.
I can give you an update on the tank project. So we had our bid opening for the tank last week. We had one bidder, DN Tank, that's formerly known as NatGun. They were the ones that actually built the tank originally. They were the bidder. They were the low bidder. The bid falls within our budget. We have roughly $680,000 available for construction. The bid came in at $672,000, and we're anticipating an award quickly. And there are some opportunities that were identified by the bidder after bid opening that we would like to discuss relevant to possibly a value engineering piece for the building. So again, DN Tank was the successful bidder. Their bid was within budget. We have adequate resources to go forward with the project. They're a very responsive company. I worked with them as NatGun. DN actually came out, how long ago was it, Tim, when they fixed the tank?
I believe it was 2 years ago. when
Yeah,
they
so
did the scalding on the top.
yeah, we had a tank inspection 3 years ago, and they identified some concrete spalling on top of the tank. I reached out to DN to get a price. They just came out and fixed it for nothing. So, you know, this is the tank was built in '86. I think they're a little out of warranty, but they still came back and fixed it. So we're looking forward to getting that project moving forward. And that's all I have for other updates, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. I guess the only other thing would be consideration of our next meeting, which Sarah has provided a nice listing, and it looks like our next slot would be April 20th. And I'm assuming 3 p.m. If that
works.
If that works for everybody. To your
Yep.
knowledge.
Brian Furman, yeah, that works for me.
Dave Pepe, it works for me.
Okay, very good. Then I'll do my best. I'll get my homework and see if I can fix my connection problems so I can go video. I know you'd like to see my nice smiling face. So. This will be a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Water and Sewer Commission, and this vote will be by roll call. Commissioner Furman,
Aye.
Commissioner Pepe,
Aye.
Commissioner Meter is an aye. So again, thank you all, and we'll see you next time.